If body language could speak, these stars would be getting even more intense. We're back, and the tea is hotter than ever. From questionable vacations to overly relaxed interviews, these celebrities continue to feed the rumor mill without saying a word. Call it coincidence, call it chemistry, or call it what it is, an unsolved mystery. Which moment made you rewind twice? Comment, because just friends never looked so romantic. Leave your take. Your voice could be the twist we've all missed. Benjamin Kang, the musician who sang in codes. Benjamin Kang never needed to shout to be heard. In Singapore, where public figures are often careful, calculated, and clean-cut, Ben brought something else: soul. As a member of the Sam Willows, he helped redefine what a modern male pop star could look and sound like: vulnerable, artistic, and impossible to box in. With his curly hair, poetic lyrics, and a gaze that always seemed to be hiding something deeper, Ben quickly became the kind of artist fans didn't just admire, they felt. But as his music gained momentum, so did the questions. Fans weren't just asking what his next single was, they were asking who he was singing about. His lyrics were often intimate, gender-neutral, and emotionally charged in ways that felt deeply personal. Interviews never revealed much. When asked about love, Ben danced around pronouns. He spoke in metaphors, he teased, and the internet? It went wild. The rumors grew louder when Ben began posting cryptic messages and deeply expressive performance pieces on social media, often playing with gender, identity, and emotion in ways rarely seen in mainstream Singaporean media. Some called it queerbaiting. Others said it was honesty, served raw and unfiltered. A few even dug up his old Tumblr posts, looking for hidden clues. And yet, Ben never once confirmed or denied. He just kept creating. Whether he's gay, bisexual, or simply someone who doesn't believe in labels, Benjamin Kang represents something important. That queerness isn't always loud or defined. Sometimes it's quiet, poetic, and wrapped in a melody. And for fans searching for reflections of themselves in music, that can mean everything. James Reid, the idol who played by his own rules. James Reid never asked for permission, and he never needed to. From the moment he stepped out of the Pinoy Big Brother house and into the spotlight, he had that untouchable aura. Heartthrob looks, pop star swagger, and just enough chaos to keep things interesting. He wasn't just another matinee idol. He was the guy who looked like he could kiss you or break your heart, or both. And maybe that's why the rumors started early and never stopped. James never followed the script. While his on-screen love team with Nadine Luster launched a fandom, it was his off-screen choices that got people talking. Androgynous fashion, sensual music videos, sultry photos with male friends, often shot in low light with high tension. He blurred lines like it was part of the brand, or maybe just part of himself. Interviews never gave straight answers. When asked about his sexuality, he danced around the topic with charm and deflection. He wasn't hiding, but he wasn't confirming anything either. And in a conservative media space like the Philippines, that refusal to define became a statement in itself. To some, it was queerbaiting. To others, it was freedom. Today, James is an independent artist, running his own label and curating his image with precision. He sings about love, lust, and longing, never specifying the who, just the feeling. His art invites interpretation and leaves room for imagination. And maybe that's the point. Because James Reid represents something powerful in today's evolving culture, that you don't need to explain yourself to express yourself. And for LGBTQ+ fans, navigating the space between visibility and safety, that message hits deep. He may never say the words people are waiting for, but what he's not saying says everything. Choi Woo-shik, the quiet star who said more by saying less. Choi Woo-shik never chased the spotlight followed him. He didn't scream heartthrob energy. He whispered it, with soft eyes, a shy smile, and the kind of screen presence that felt less like performance and more like watching someone think out loud. Woo-shik became Korea's quietest breakout star. But when your fame grows and your personal life stays invisible, people start to fill in the blanks. He gained global recognition through Train to Busan, then stole hearts in Our Beloved Summer, playing emotionally intelligent, gentle men who often chose silence over spectacle. But the more beloved he became, the stranger it seemed that nothing personal ever slipped through. No public relationships, no dating scandals, not even a vague hint of who he loved or how. And in an industry that thrives on PR romances, Woo-shik's total emotional privacy sparked speculation. It didn't help that his chemistry with male co-stars was undeniable. The easy affection, the long glances, the way his characters often embodied softness not typically seen in leading men. Online, fans started asking, was this just great acting, or was he reflecting something real? Woo-shik never addressed the rumors. He didn't push them away, but he didn't invite them either. And maybe that's what makes him matter more. Because for so many queer fans, especially in cultures where identity is still a silent struggle, seeing someone embrace softness, vulnerability, and ambiguity without fear is deeply validating. Choi Woo-shik reminds us that masculinity doesn't need to be loud to be strong, that romance isn't less real when it's gentle, and that queerness doesn't always arrive in rainbow lights. Sometimes it slips quietly into view in the way someone simply chooses to exist. Mick Sahafap, the sweetheart, trapped in a fantasy too loud. Mick Sahafap didn't enter the spotlight with mystery or scandal. He came in smiling, bright, boyish, and effortlessly likable. Mick was the kind of actor who made you feel like he was your best friend, even if you'd only seen him on screen. But from the moment he starred as Tian in A Tale of Thousand Stars, his life stopped being his own. He wasn't just Mick anymore. He was half of a couple fans refused to separate. BL fans around the world fell hard. The chemistry, the vulnerability, the slow burn romance. It was so real, so emotionally charged, that many forgot. This was acting, and when the cameras stopped rolling, the speculation didn't. Was Mick really straight? Was the friendship with Parowatt just for show? Why did every glance, every hug, every behind-the-scenes moment feel like something more? Mick never made a grand statement. He kept smiling, kept posting, kept playing the part, both on and off screen. But the pressure was there, to maintain the fantasy, to be charming, but never too clear, to perform intimacy without confirming identity. And that's where the questions became heavier than the roles. Because behind the soft smile and BL stardom is a real person, one who deserves space to grow, to question, to just exist without being pulled apart by endless analysis. And whether Mick is queer, straight, or still figuring things out, he's already done something powerful. He's made space for tenderness between men. He's shown that vulnerability, emotional openness, and love, real or fictional, don't have to come with shame. And for LGBTQ+ viewers, especially young ones, that kind of visibility matters. Even when it comes wrapped in fiction, it creates room for truth. Darren Wang, the bad boy who stayed too quiet. Darren Wang has the face of a troublemaker and the silence of someone who knows exactly what he's doing. He rose to fame with Our Times, charming audiences with his rebellious energy and smirking bravado. With that jawline, that leather jacket charisma, and the kind of glare that made teenage hearts stop, Darren quickly became the ultimate bad boy fantasy. But when the cameras stopped rolling, he didn't say much about anything. As his fame grew, fans started noticing the gaps. Years in the public eye, no confirmed girlfriends, no viral couple sightings, no messy breakups. In fact, Darren's romantic life seemed to exist only in fiction. And that's when people began to whisper. Was he just insanely private or protecting something deeper? The rumors found fuel in his fashion choices, close male friendships, and interviews where he artfully dodged questions about love. He could be warm, but never intimate. Friendly, but never revealing. To many fans, especially LGBTQ+ viewers, that distance didn't feel cold, it felt familiar. Like the carefully calculated silence of someone navigating fame in a world that still isn't ready for full honesty. Darren never confirmed anything, and maybe he never will. But that doesn't mean he hasn't made an impact. Because sometimes, the quietest figures leave the loudest echoes. He's a reminder that masculinity doesn't need to be aggressive, that mystery can be power, and that not everyone's truth fits into the boxes we build for them. All right, be honest. Which of these 5 made you pause, rewind, and maybe stalk their Instagram just a little? Who hit you the hardest? Who made you feel seen? Drop your pick in the comments, and don't be shy. Your opinion's part of the story too. Chimon Warawi. The soft star caught in the spotlight too soon. Chimon Warawi never tried to be mysterious. He was just young. Boyish charm, round eyes, and a natural vulnerability that made him perfect for the BL world. Thailand's casting directors saw it. Fans saw it. And soon, Chimon became one of the most recognizable baby-faced actors in the industry. But somewhere between fan fiction and fan expectations, his identity stopped being his own. From My Dear Loser to The Gifted and beyond, Chimon delivered performances filled with emotion, sincerity, and chemistry, with both male and female co-stars. But in the world of BL, fans don't always separate fiction from reality. Photo shoots turned into proof. Playful interactions were taken as signs. His silence on the matter, interpreted 100 different ways. People speculated. Is Chimon queer or just kind? Is he playing along or trapped in a fan-made fantasy? He never said much. And maybe that's what made the noise louder. For someone still in his early 20s, every gesture, every post, every co-star hug became a data point. And behind the smile, the question remained, what if he's still figuring it out? In a world that demands answers too fast, Chimon is a reminder that people, especially young ones, deserve time. Time to grow, time to explore, time to just be without being labeled. Because for queer youth, especially those still searching, seeing someone move gently through the chaos without panic, without apology, is a kind of quiet representation in itself. And sometimes that softness is a strength all its own. Joshua Garcia, the boy next door who hid more than a smile. Joshua Garcia was never the loudest name in showbiz, but he didn't need to be. He was that guy. The charming, emotional lead who made you cry at 2 a.m. in a Teleserie rerun. Born in 1997 and rising to fame from Pinoy Big Brother, Joshua carved out a career as the perfect boy next door. Sensitive, thoughtful, always a little too good to be true. But in recent years, fans noticed something strange. For someone so beloved, so often cast as the romantic lead, he didn't seem to have much of a romantic life himself. Sure, there were past links to Julia Barreto, but the buzz died down. And what came next were softer stories. Blurry encounters and persistent whispers. Whispers about the way he looked at his male co-stars, the way he hugged, the way he dodged every question about ideal partners with the grace of a man who knew the answer, but wasn't ready to share. Joshua's Instagram only added fuel. A mix of moody portraits, ambiguous captions, and the occasional post that felt just a little too curated. It wasn't proof of anything, but in the era of TikTok deep dives and Reddit theories, it was enough. He never confirmed, never denied, and maybe that's what made him even more magnetic. Because in a culture still obsessed with labeling, Joshua stayed undefined. Not because he was hiding, but because he was choosing when and if to speak. And for many LGBTQ+ viewers, that choice was powerful. Because queer visibility isn't always a headline. Sometimes it's the quiet strength of someone who knows who they are and knows the world isn't ready yet. Do you think Joshua's silence is just privacy or something deeper? Does his story reflect someone you know, or maybe even yourself? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about what we see, even when it's left unsaid. Kim Wubin, the strong, silent type who kept us guessing. If Korean drama needed a poster boy for quiet power, it would be Kim Wubin. Tall, striking, a voice like velvet dipped in gravel. He wasn't just a leading man, he was the man. The one who didn't need to try because his presence did all the talking. From School 2013 to The Heirs to Uncontrollably Fond, Wubin played roles that made viewers fall hard, not because he demanded attention, but because he mastered the art of mystery. But as the fame grew louder, he stayed silent. And in that silence, questions began to echo. Sure, there was the high-profile relationship with actress Shin Mina, a pairing praised by fans and the media. But even then, something didn't quite line up. Some pointed out the lack of spark in public. Others noticed the way Wubin's deepest chemistry often showed up not with his female leads, but his male co-stars. There were soft glances, behind-the-scenes warmth, a certain tenderness that didn't always feel scripted. When he took a break from acting due to illness, the rumors didn't pause. They deepened. And when he came back, fans sensed a shift. He was softer, more grounded, more himself. Some said he looked like someone who had finally stopped pretending, or maybe someone who had nothing left to prove. But Wubin never addressed the buzz, not once. And that silence, it only added fuel. Still, for LGBTQ+ fans, it wasn't about getting an answer. It was about feeling seen, about recognizing a kind of strength that doesn't need to shout, a masculinity that doesn't crush softness, a person who, label or not, reflected something rare, quiet authenticity. Because in a world obsessed with exposure, sometimes the most radical thing you can do is stay true without saying a word. Jahoon, the art house rebel with too many secrets. Some actors follow a script. Jahoon tossed his into a bonfire, then strutted through the flames wearing something from Paris Fashion Week. Born in 1986, Yu didn't just question the rules of what a Korean leading man should be. He rewrote them in cursive, with eyeliner. From arthouse gems like Burning to thrillers like Voice of Silence, he wasn't here to play it safe. He was here to feel, to challenge, to make you slightly uncomfortable and completely captivated. But while the performances were loud, the personal life stayed whisper quiet and deliciously mysterious. The flamboyant fashion? Check. Deep, borderline poetic male friendships? Check. Social media captions that sounded like a Lana Del Rey verse? Triple check. And with every new look, every bold interview, fans leaned in closer, asking the same question. Is Jahoon playing queer characters or playing from experience? To be clear, he's never said yes, or no, or anything really. And that's what made him even more fascinating. In a culture where even blinking wrong in an interview can cause scandal, Yu just stared back, fearless, silent, daring you to keep guessing. And let's not forget, this is a man who openly supports LGBTQ+ rights in a country where that's still seen as radical. So maybe he's not out, but he's not exactly hiding either. For many queer fans, Jahoon became something more than an actor. He became a symbol of rebellion, of fluidity, of not giving a damn about expectations. And honestly, that's the kind of icon we need. Now, if you thought Jahoon was hard to define, wait until you meet our final mystery. He's soft-spoken, effortlessly cool, and somehow always looks like he just walked out of a dream. Let's talk about Canaro Sakaguchi. The soft boy who kept it all too quiet. Canaro Sakaguchi doesn't shout. He doesn't need to. With eyes that say everything and a jawline sharp enough to cut through your emotional defenses, Kentaro built his career on the quiet storm, and fans haven't stopped swooning since. From Your Eyes Tell to We Made a Beautiful Bouquet, he mastered the role of the introspective heartthrob, the man who feels deeply, speaks little, and leaves you wondering, what's really going on behind that perfect face? But it wasn't just the roles. Off-screen, Kentaro kept it even more subtle. No dating scandals, no PR-staged relationships, no thirsty selfies. His Instagram, aesthetic heaven. His interviews, carefully vague. And his personal life, a sealed vault. Naturally, the mystery became fuel. Fans speculated endlessly. Was Kentaro simply private, or was he deliberately staying in the shadows? The rumors kicked into high gear thanks to his consistent roles as emotionally intimate men, often forming bonds that felt just a bit too tender. Add to that the androgynous fashion, the whispered co-star chemistry, and the complete lack of romantic history in the public eye, and suddenly, a new narrative emerged. Maybe the softest men are hiding the biggest truths. Still, Kentaro never played defense. He let people believe what they wanted. And maybe that's why he's become a quiet icon for many LGBTQ+ fans. A reminder that not everyone needs to declare who they are to be seen. Sometimes being gentle, private, and unreadable is enough to make people feel less alone. So now that we've uncovered 10 different shades of mystery, tenderness, and quiet rebellion, we want to hear from you. Out of all 10, who stayed with you the longest? Was it the mystery, the quiet power, the blurred lines, or the soft defiance? Tell us who moved you, challenged you, or made you feel seen. Drop their name in the comments. We're listening. Because in a world full of noise, your voice and your truth still matter most. Let's be real. Was this just a deep dive into rumors or an emotional roller coaster you didn't ask for? Somewhere between thirst traps and soft glances, we found stories that hit harder than expected. If you laughed, screamed, or questioned everything, you're not alone. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and stick around. Because queer-coded chaos, that's our specialty. Some of Asia's biggest heartthrobs might be hiding more than just talent. From K-pop idols to rising actors, these 10 Asian male stars have sparked endless whispers, moments on screen, glances off camera, and interviews that raised more questions than answers. Are these just rumors, or is there truth hiding in plain sight? Stick around as we dive into the mystery, the speculation, and the impact of staying silent in a spotlight that sees everything. But we want to hear from you. What do you think? Are the fans reading too much into it? Or is something finally breaking through the surface? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let the conversation begin. He walked onto the screen with nothing but a dimpled smile, and the world never looked away. Gnapat didn't come to shake the system, but somehow he did. Not with scandal, not with controversy, but with chemistry, with softness, with a kind of gaze that lingered too long and said too much. In Thailand's ever-evolving BL Boys Love universe, Baun quickly became more than just a rising actor. He became a feeling, the kind that fans couldn't quite explain. The kind that sparked edits, theories, and shipping wars louder than any official announcement ever could. From his breakout with Until We Meet Again to the undeniable magic he shared with Prem, Baun was never just playing a role. He embodied something tender yet bold, subtle, but impossible to miss. Their on-screen intimacy felt real, maybe too real. And soon, the lines between character and actor blurred completely. Was it just performance? A well-rehearsed fantasy? The rumors came fast. Whispers online, threads dissecting every glance, every touch. But Baun never gave a straight answer. And that made the mystery grow stronger. To some, his silence felt like protection. To others, it felt like quiet defiance. Whether Baun is gay, straight, bi, or somewhere in between, the truth is he never owed us a label. What he did give us, through every performance, every scene that felt just a little too honest, was permission. Permission to wonder, to feel, to see queerness not as a punchline, but as a possibility. And maybe that's the real power of Baun Noppanut, not just in how he acted, but in how he made us question everything we thought we knew about love and identity on screen. Prem, the lover boy. Asia can't stop watching or questioning King. They say some actors become their roles, but what if the world refuses to separate the man from the fantasy? Prem was born in Thailand with the kind of soft-spoken charm that makes you lean in, not just to listen, but to feel. He didn't crash into the industry. He floated in, all gentle smiles and quiet intensity. Behind the camera, he was polite, even shy. But once the director yelled action, he transformed. And soon, people weren't just watching him, they were falling for him. His breakout role in Until We Meet Again didn't just earn him fans, it launched a phenomenon. As Dean, one half of a star-crossed gay couple, Prem wasn't acting like he was in love. He looked like he was in love. And with every longing glance toward his co-star Baun, the line between performance and real passion started to blur. The chemistry was electric, so natural, so raw, that fans didn't just ship them, they believed in them. The duo became known as Baun Prem, touring, posing, and breathing life into a fantasy that millions around the world craved. But when the cameras stopped rolling, the questions started coming. Is Prem really gay? Is Baun more than a co-star? Why won't he just say something? The rumors have clung to him like a second skin, sometimes playful, sometimes vicious. Prem's never confirmed anything, never denied it either. He smiles through interviews, he thanks his fans, but he never gives them what they really want, a label. And maybe that silence is his power. Or maybe, just maybe, it's his protection. In a region where being openly LGBTQ+ can still end careers, Prem walks a careful line, adored for playing gay, judged for possibly being gay. Pavlov, the enigma behind the spotlight. He had the kind of face that made you stop scrolling. Sharp jaw, stormy eyes, and that quiet smirk that suggested he knew more than he let on. Pavlov didn't just walk into the spotlight, he made it flicker. From the runways of Paris to the indie film circuits of Eastern Europe, Pavel wasn't just another pretty face, he was a presence. But for every accolade he earned, there was a whisper behind it. Is he hiding something? In an industry obsessed with image, Pavel's refusal to play by the rules only added fuel to the fire. Born in Russia and raised between cultures, Pavel carved a niche where East met West. His modeling campaigns blurred the lines between fashion and art, elegant, intimate, almost too vulnerable. Then came the acting roles, brooding characters, complicated lovers, men on the edge of identity. He didn't speak much in interviews. He didn't need to. His roles seemed to say enough. But as the chemistry with male co-stars became impossible to ignore, so did the rumors. Was he drawing from experience, or just that good of an actor? No public girlfriends, no red carpet romances, just a string of close friendships and cryptic captions. And for the LGBTQ+ community watching, that silence felt both familiar and frustrating. The truth? Pavel's never confirmed anything, and maybe he never will. Maybe that's the point. In a world quick to label, he's chosen ambiguity as both shield and weapon. But whether he's gay, straight, or somewhere in between, his story taps into something bigger. The right to be complex, to be human, to be more than a headline. And maybe that's why we keep watching, not just to know the truth, but to understand why it matters. So what do you think? Is Pavlov a mystery or a message? Drop your thoughts below, because silence can be powerful, but conversation? That's where change begins. Jungho didn't chase fame, it found him. With his tall frame, soulful eyes, and that ever-calm demeanor, he became a favorite of Korean drama lovers from the start. Debuting in the early 2000s, he slowly built a reputation for roles that felt raw and real, whether playing a soldier, a gangster, or a hopeless romantic. He wasn't the flashiest actor in the room, but he didn't need to be. He had a quiet intensity that made you lean in, made you listen, made you care. As the years passed, his filmography grew bolder. From Prison Playbook to Hospital Playlist, Jung wasn't just acting, he was transforming. But as his career flourished, something curious happened. The media stopped asking about his roles and started asking about his relationships. Despite being linked publicly to Choi Soo-young of Girls' Generation, rumors began to swirl. Was the relationship real? Was it a cover? Fans pointed to his body language in interviews, his deep comfort around certain male co-stars, and the way he avoided romantic discussion unless it was scripted. Online forums lit up with speculation. Clips were dissected. Every smile, every touch, every glance analyzed. And yet, Jung said nothing. Never confirmed, never denied, just smiled, looked down, and moved on. And maybe that's the story here. In an industry obsessed with labels, Jungho chose mystery. He didn't owe anyone his truth, only his talent. And that, he delivered in full. Whether the rumors are true or not, they've never defined him. What defines Jungho is his ability to make audiences believe in love, in pain, in transformation. Maybe he's gay, maybe he's not. But either way, he's proof that who you are behind the scenes doesn't change the power of what you bring to the screen. He had the face of a prince, the voice of a pop star, and a gaze that always felt like it was hiding something. Kento Nakajima wasn't just another idol. He was a mystery wrapped in a smile, and for over a decade, fans have wondered, was it all just part of the show? Or was there something deeper he couldn't say out loud? Kento Nakajima entered Japan's entertainment scene like a scripted dream. Groomed under Johnny's Entertainment, one of the most powerful agencies in Asia, he debuted with the boy band Sexy Zone at just 17. With sharp dance moves, polished vocals, and a charm that could light up Tokyo Tower, Kento quickly became the face of the group. But he wasn't just a singer. He acted, hosted, modeled, becoming one of Japan's most beloved and versatile young stars. Yet beneath all the glitz, his image was tightly controlled, almost too perfect. And that's when the whispers began. For years, Kento played it safe, publicly single, polite, and always respectful. But fans who followed closely noticed patterns, the way he avoided gendered language in interviews, the deep, affectionate friendships he shared with male co-stars, captured in photos that felt a little too intimate, a little too real. And then there were the tweets. Subtle, cryptic messages that fans dissected like puzzles. Was he hinting at something? Or just playing into the curiosity? In an industry where idols are expected to be desirable yet unattached, being gay, it might spell the end of a career. So Kento stayed quiet, while fan theories got louder. In recent years, as LGBTQ+ visibility has grown in Japan and worldwide, fans have started viewing Kento through a different lens. Not as someone hiding, but someone surviving. The pressure of being a national idol while navigating identity is more than most of us could imagine. Whether the rumors are true or not, one thing is clear. Kento Nakajima represents a generation of artists caught between tradition and truth. Between the image they're told to project and the life they may never get to live. Sho Hirano didn't just walk into stardom. He exploded into it. With a face sculpted for magazine covers and a voice that melted stages, he became the kind of idol Japan couldn't take its eyes off. As a central member of King and Prince, Sho stood tall, charming, magnetic, flawless. But with every polished performance, there was always a flicker of something more. Something unspoken. Fans didn't just love him, they studied him. The way he looked at his male co-stars, the way his hand lingered, the lyrics he sang, always balanced so delicately between romantic and ambiguous. Soon, admiration turned to obsession. Online forums lit up with speculation. Was Sho gay? Was he in a secret relationship? Had his management silenced something? Despite being in one of Japan's most heavily curated boy bands, Hirano carried an air of mystery that no amount of PR control could dim. Interviews only added fuel to the fire. When asked about love, he gave cryptic smiles. When paired with female celebrities, the chemistry felt staged. But it was his genuine tenderness around male castmates, the unscripted touches, the laughter that seemed too real, that kept fans whispering. In a country where queerness is still often hidden behind coded words and careful silence, Sho's entire existence felt like a balancing act between truth and tradition. He never confirmed, never denied, and perhaps that's what made the rumors louder. Because in the polished world of J-pop, even silence can be a statement. Was Sho protecting his career or protecting his heart? The truth may never be fully known, but to many fans, especially queer ones, Sho Hirano became more than just an idol. He became a symbol of fluidity, of courage, of everything that exists in the space between. And speaking of quiet strength and coded tenderness, the next story takes us to Thailand, where Gnapat has been turning heads for years, not just with his talent, but with the way he's redefining what it means to love freely in the public eye. They say a good voice can hide 1,000 secrets, and Gnapat's voice? It could melt stone. From the moment he stepped onto Thailand's biggest stages, he wasn't just singing, he was seducing the country with every note. His charm was effortless. His smile? Disarming. He was the kind of star you rooted for, not just because he had talent, but because he made you feel like he was singing just for you. Fans clung to every lyric, every interview, every casual moment he shared online. But while his music felt honest, his personal life remained a quiet room he never let anyone enter. As Gun's fame soared, the silence around his relationships grew louder. He was close to several male co-stars. Too close, some whispered. Behind-the-scenes footage showed lingering glances, touches that felt a beat too long, smiles exchanged like inside jokes only lovers share. Was it just fan service? Or was there something real hiding in plain sight? When asked about love in interviews, Gunn mastered the art of the dodge, giving just enough to keep people hooked, but never enough to confirm anything. And then came the rumors. Fans online began piecing together clips, tweets, even lyrics, claiming Gunn was quietly telling his truth all along. If only we knew how to listen. To this day, Gnapat has never officially addressed the speculation. He doesn't need to. His silence, in some ways, has become part of the performance, a carefully held mystery in an age of oversharing. Maybe he's protecting someone. Maybe he's protecting himself. Or maybe he's simply letting his truth exist between the lines, in the space between his lyrics and the fans who hear them differently. In a world that still judges love by its gender, perhaps Gunn's greatest rebellion is choosing to remain undefined, letting the music speak louder than any label ever could. They say every superstar has two faces, one for the stage and one the world will never see. And when it comes to Chris Parowatt, fans have spent years wondering which one is real. With a smile that could light up a stadium and a presence that feels tailor-made for romance, Chris didn't just act, he enchanted. From the moment he burst onto the BL scene in Sodas, the series, he wasn't just portraying love, he became the fantasy. Millions shipped him with co-star Singto Perchaya, analyzing every glance, every behind-the-scenes moment. For many, they weren't acting, they were living it. Chris rode the wave of fame like a pro. Concerts, variety shows, heart-melting duets with Singto that had fans convinced they were witnessing something more than just marketing. While the chemistry was undeniable, the rumors burned hotter than any script. Was it all just fan service, or was the line between fiction and reality starting to blur? And when the cameras stopped rolling, Chris didn't make things easier for the rumor mill. He teased, he flirted, he gave just enough to fuel the fire, but never enough to confirm it. He once said in an interview that love is not about gender, it's about connection. That quote became a rallying cry, a code fans clung to. Because in a country where stars rarely come out, Chris didn't shut the door. He left it wide open, and then smiled like he knew exactly what he was doing. Over the years, Chris has dated women, publicly, even defiantly. But that didn't quiet the speculation. If anything, it only made it louder. The way he talks, the way he moves, the tender way he looks at male co-stars, the audience sees it, they feel it, and maybe that's the magic, or the torment, of Chris Parowatt. He walks the line so effortlessly that no one can tell where the performance ends and the truth begins. Is he straight, gay, bi, fluid, or simply an artist playing with perception? In the end, maybe it doesn't matter. What matters is how he made people feel, seen, validated, free to imagine a love that doesn't need labels. James Gerayu walked into the Thai entertainment industry like a scene from a classic drama. Sharp suit, sweet smile, polite charm. He had the kind of presence that made directors trust him with lead roles and made aunties call him son-in-law material. With hit dramas, commercials, and even a singing career, James seemed built for stardom. He was the golden boy who never slipped, never partied too hard, never dated too publicly, never strayed from his image. But in showbiz, too much perfection can raise more questions than praise. And for James, those questions became whispers. The rumors didn't come from scandals. They came from the silence. James rarely addressed romance, often dodged questions about relationships, and had a habit of keeping co-stars at arm's length off-screen. Fans started to notice how he connected better with certain male actors, how he lit up in unscripted moments that didn't make the headlines but lived on in fan edits. Some called it chemistry. Others called it evidence. A few noted his years-long closeness with fellow actor-to-model friends, often vacationing together in ways that felt more intimate than professional. And yet, he never confirmed, never denied, only smiled. It was that smile that made the internet wonder, was he hiding something or protecting something? In Thailand's still conservative landscape, especially for A-list actors, coming out or even being suspected could have tanked their whole career. So James stayed silent. He never said no, but he never said yes. He focused on work, on elegance, on control. And while some fans backed away afraid of the ambiguity, others leaned in even closer. They saw layers beneath the image, pain maybe, or just the burden of carrying a truth not ready for the spotlight. Today, James Gerayu remains an enigma, loved, admired, but never truly known. Maybe that's how he wants it. Or maybe that's the only way he can survive in a system that still punishes men for loving who they love. He had the face of innocence, big eyes, gentle voice, a smile that melted even the coldest screen. Namdarom wasn't just a child actor, he was the child actor. Korean families watched him grow up on screen like he was one of their own. But behind that flawless image, whispers began. Not just about his talent, but about his truth. And in an industry obsessed with control, truth can be dangerous. From Boys Over Flowers to Startup, Namdarom didn't just play supporting roles, he became the emotional anchor of every drama he touched. Casting directors praised his depth, fans called him pure. But as he transitioned into adulthood, something shifted. He stayed quiet on romance, never linked to any public girlfriend. And in the K-drama world, where every rising male star is pushed into on-screen chemistry with female leads, his silence became louder than words. Social media picked up on his softness, his shy elegance, his androgynous charm. Soon, fan forums and TikToks were flooded with the same question. Is Namdarom gay, or just different in a world that punishes difference? To be clear, Namdarom has never commented on these rumors. Not once, not even to deny them. But in that silence, some fans saw courage, others saw fear. He's posted emotional reflections, chosen roles that hint at repression, and above all, he's never bent to industry expectations. No fake dating scandals, no forced image shifts. Maybe that's why the rumors won't go away, because in a world where silence is rare, his feels meaningful. Whether true or not, the fascination with Namdarom says more about us than him. Why are we still so obsessed with labeling softness? And why do we turn mystery into suspicion? So what did we learn from these 10 stories? That silence doesn't mean shame. That rumors often reveal more about society than the stars themselves. And maybe, just maybe, it's time we stop asking "are they?" and start asking, why does it still matter? If this video made you think, feel, or see these stars in a new light, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and explore the rest of our videos. There's a whole world of stories waiting. Stories that challenge the old rules, celebrate identity, and bring us closer to truth. See you in the next one. Not every story begins with a confession. Some live in glances, gestures, rumors that never go away. This video is the continuation of our previous series exploring the queer-coded, the closeted, and the quietly revolutionary stars of Asian entertainment. And today we're diving even deeper into the rumors they never confirmed, but never quite denied. So tell us, which name on this list do you think will surprise you the most? Junkook, the idol, the tattoos, and the rumors that won't quit. Let's be real, Junkook isn't just a global superstar. He's the internet's favorite mystery. The tattoos, the piercings, the moody selfies with dim lighting and deep captions. Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. Whether he's staring into a camera like he's in love with it, or singing lyrics that feel a little too personal, fans aren't just listening, they're decoding. Every hairstyle, every outfit, every slightly too long hug with another male idol becomes a clue in the world's biggest unspoken fan theory. And oh, the rumors. From late-night V-Lives to the way he glances at certain bandmates, the speculation has been louder than a BTS concert. Is Jungkook gay? Was that hand touch accidental? Why does he always sing the emotional parts like he's feeling them? The fandom has spreadsheets, Reddit threads, even TikTok video essays. And let's not forget the fanfic titles that would make your grandma faint. He hasn't confirmed a thing, but somehow that just makes people even more sure. Some say he's just affectionate. Others swear he's sending coded messages with every blink. And while Big Hit has tried to shut things down with the usual "don't invade their privacy" PR tone, the internet has decided this isn't just parasocial love anymore. It's a full-blown investigation with sparkles. So, Is Junkook secretly gay? Is he just queer-coded? Or is he a master of ambiguity who knows exactly how to keep the world watching and guessing? One thing's for sure, he doesn't need to come out to keep fans obsessed. He just needs to keep showing up, looking like that. Jang Dong Yun. Too pretty for war. Too mysterious for straight. TikTok. Jang Dong Yun was a national hero before he even stepped on a drama set. Literally, he stopped a knife-wielding thief in a convenience store and got offered an acting career like it was a superhero origin story. But let's fast forward past the action hero resume, because somewhere between the tale of Nokdu and those suspiciously tender glances at male co-stars, the internet whispered, "Wait, is he?" He played a man disguising himself as a woman in a historical drama and pulled it off too well. Like makeup blending, waist snatching, cheekbone sculpting well. It wasn't just the look, it was the energy. And when fans saw the chemistry between him and the male characters, boom, gay TikTok exploded. Suddenly, every slow-motion blink, every slightly breathy line reading, every behind-the-scenes laugh with his male co-stars became evidence. And let's be honest, he never tried too hard to shut it down either. Some claim he's just soft-spoken, elegant, and comfortable in his skin. Others say he's the definition of a closeted king. He gives interviews with that "I'm saying just enough to stay mysterious" vibe. He avoids girlfriend rumors like they're spoilers for a K-drama finale. But whether he's queer, an ally, or just not playing by anyone's expectations, he's become a quiet icon for those who live outside the boxes people try to shove them into. Because at the end of the day, Jang Dong Yun reminds us, gender roles are just roles. And love, style, softness, none of it should be restricted by who you're supposed to be. The real power is in owning your truth, even if you choose to keep it private. Lucas Luan Nguyen, Vietnam's silent storm of charm and suspicion. Born as Song Luan in 1991, Lucas Luan Nguyen wasn't always in the spotlight, but once he got there, he never looked back. He started out as a singer with a warm baritone and army-cut masculinity and on-screen intensity, before exploding onto Vietnamese screens as a leading man in both TV dramas and action-packed films. From Descendants of the Sun, Vietnam, to steamy music videos, Lucas quickly became a household name, not just for his talent, but for the kind of masculine charm that doesn't try too hard. And yet, something about him always felt just a little too polished, too perfect, too untouchable. That kind of natural heat doesn't need a spotlight, it creates one. He's never confirmed a relationship with anyone, not a hint, not a "we're just friends" or even a vague PR girlfriend. And yet, fans swear something's there. His chemistry with male co-stars? Electric. His Insta photos? Carefully curated but oddly intimate. And when he sings about heartbreak, it's never really clear who broke his heart, just that it hurt. Bad. Add that to the fact he served in the military, came back looking even hotter, and still somehow dodged every public romantic entanglement? It's giving something. Of course, in a country like Vietnam, where LGBTQ+ representation still walks a delicate line, staying private might be more than just a personal choice. It might be protection. Still, for younger fans watching him break molds, speak softly but carry presence, and dodge labels like a pro, Lucas Luan Nguyen has become something more than just a pretty face. He's a possibility. So now we ask you, could Lucas Luan Nguyen be Vietnam's quiet LGBTQ+ icon in the making? Or is he simply redefining what masculinity and mystery look like in modern Asian media? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you see behind that gaze. Tulpicorn. The chemistry king who set the BL standard too high. Tulpicorn didn't just star in a boys' love series. He defined one. When Together With Me hit screens in Thailand, it didn't just launch a hit, it launched a whole new kind of obsession. And right at the center of it all was Tul, calm and magnetic, with a stare that made viewers forget how to breathe. His chemistry with co-star Max Natapol, so believable, so fiery, fans were convinced it had to be real. The way he looked at Max, the way he smiled mid-scene, like he knew something we didn't, yeah, no script could fake that. Off-screen, Tol was smooth. Too smooth. He never over-explained, never denied too hard, and always answered questions with a smile that said, maybe, maybe not. While some BL actors rushed to distance themselves from the queer roles that made them famous, Tol leaned in, attending fan events, teasing shippers, and never once playing the "I'm straight, don't worry" card. That confidence? It wasn't loud, but it was powerful. And for a Thai actor navigating both fame and a fan base that watches every move, that quiet ownership was its own kind of rebellion. Of course, Tol has never labeled himself, and maybe he doesn't have to, because for thousands of fans across Asia, he's already become a symbol. A reminder that queerness on screen can be celebrated, not just tolerated. That intimacy between men doesn't always need an explanation, and that sometimes the real revolution is simply not apologizing for the vibe. And speaking of vibes, the next name on our list brings a whole different kind of charm. Quirky, viral, and smooth-talking in a way that makes fans feel like he's flirting through the screen. Let's talk about Toptap Jirikit, and why some fans think he might be dropping more hints than we realize. Toptap Jirikit. Too flirty to be straight, or just playing the game too well? Toptap Jirikit is what you get when you cross a boy next door with a walking wink. He's the kind of actor who doesn't even need lines. Just hand him a smile, a camera, and a co-star, and somehow the entire internet falls in love. Starting off with small roles in Thai dramas, Toptap worked his way up the industry ladder with charm, comedy timing, and just enough mischief to make you think he knows what he's doing. And when he joined the BL universe, game over. Fans didn't just watch, they zoomed in. Whether it's teasing his male co-stars during interviews, playfully brushing against them during fan meets, or giggling mid-scene with that "did I just break you" face, Toptap doesn't accidentally cause speculation. He thrives in it. The way he calls male castmates babe, or casually leans into their necks, we're not saying it's gay, but we're definitely saying it's not gay. Still, no one really knows where the real Toptap ends and the fan service begins. And maybe that's the fun, or maybe that's the mask. To be fair, Thailand's entertainment scene has made space for queer-coded playfulness, as long as it stays within the safe borders of just acting. But Toptap? He blurs that line. He dares to flirt back, to enjoy the moment without needing to clarify afterward. And in doing so, he gives queer fans something rare. A male idol who doesn't treat queerness like a costume, but like an energy, powerful, magnetic, and totally unbothered by labels. These five didn't just entertain, they made us feel, wonder, and see ourselves, each with their own spark, scandal, or slow burn mystery. But which one hit you the hardest? Who made you feel something real, even through a screen? Drop your vote in the comments and tell us who's your favorite and why. We're not just keeping count. We're collecting heartbeats. Park Seo-joon. Too smooth to be caught. Too magnetic to be ignored. Park Seo-joon walks into a room like he's already read the script and knows how it ends, with you falling for him. Whether he's playing a cocky CEO, a struggling fighter, or a mysterious heartthrob, there's one constant. The man exudes control. But it's that exact control, that perfectly measured coolness, that's kept fans questioning for years. Because behind every scene-stealing smirk and tailored suit is a question the internet just won't let go. Is Park Seo-joon hiding more than just his next role? It started small. 2 small details, a lack of public relationships, long-standing friendships with other male actors that felt a little curated. And then came the vacation photos, a certain rumored companion, the tabloid whispers, the fan theories, the media silence, all while Park stayed calm, too calm, offering nothing but charm, style, and silence. And when fans asked, he did what he does best. He acted his way out of it. But here's the thing. In a country like South Korea, where masculinity is tightly packaged and every move is scrutinized, Park's refusal to play the traditional straight man game feels almost rebellious. He doesn't need to come out, post a rainbow, or kiss a co-star to send a message. His message is in how he doesn't flinch, how he exists with confidence, grace, and a mystery no PR team can explain away. And maybe that's the new standard. Maybe queerness in media isn't just about declarations, it's about presence, power, stillness. And Park Seo-joon, he's all of that. Quiet, captivating, and a reminder that some closets don't need doors, just time. If you believe in stories that challenge norms, celebrate mystery, and embrace every shade of identity, don't forget to like, subscribe, and support our channel. Your voice helps us shine a brighter light on the stories that matter. Great Sapphole, the quiet flame fans can't stop watching. Great Sapphole didn't explode into stardom overnight. He simmered. From early supporting roles to leading man status in hit Thai dramas, his rise has been slow but deliberate, like someone who knows exactly where he's going and isn't in a rush to prove it. Whether it's in My Mischievous Fiancé, You're My Sky, or those soulful brand endorsements, Great carries a kind of gravity that draws eyes without demanding attention. He's polished, poised, and quietly powerful. And yet, the louder his career got, the louder the whispers became. Because while his on-screen romances with women were picture-perfect, fans were always more interested in what happened off-screen, especially when it came to his interactions with male co-stars. In behind-the-scenes clips, press interviews, or those strangely intimate Instagram photos, there was always something. A hand that lingered, a laugh that felt too inside, a glance that didn't quite read platonic. TikTok lit up, Reddit threads dissected every touch, and the question became harder to ignore. Is Great Sapphole gay and just not saying it? The rumors only intensified when his popularity spiked. He was suddenly everywhere. Magazine covers, red carpets, fan events across Asia. Yet still, no dating scandals, no girlfriend reveals. Just one impossibly handsome man, dressing better than ever, smiling politely when asked about his love life, and dodging the question like a pro. And maybe it is. In an industry where being openly gay can still cost you roles, sponsorships, or even basic public support, Great's quiet ambiguity speaks volumes. He's not hiding, he's surviving. And for so many queer fans in conservative cultures, that kind of survival feels revolutionary. Because being visible isn't always about rainbows and statements. Sometimes it's about stillness. Still being here. Still thriving. And Great, he's still here. Still gorgeous, still unreadable, and still giving queer fans something rare. Representation without explanation. Lee Jahoon, the actor's actor, and the enigma no one can crack. Lee Jahoon doesn't play roles, he becomes them. From indie masterpieces to box office hits, he's built a career on precision, depth, and the kind of subtle acting that makes critics lean forward. Whether in Bleak Night, Architecture 101, or Taxi Driver, Lee isn't just convincing, he's compelling. But off-screen? That's where things get even more interesting. Because the more nuanced his performances became, the more questions the public started asking about him. He's famously private. No relationship scandals, no dating rumors with female celebrities, just silence and strategy. Fans have noticed how he navigates interviews. Warm but guarded, thoughtful but never too revealing. And when it comes to his friendships with male co-stars, particularly those he's worked with repeatedly, the intimacy seems a little too natural, too emotionally fluent to be just work. It's not just chemistry on screen, it lingers off-screen too. As his career rose, so did the murmurs. Was Lee Jahoon queer? Is his silence a shield? Or is he simply tired of a culture that demands everyone define themselves for public consumption? The internet, of course, doesn't do well with ambiguity, so theories flew. He's too sensitive to be straight. He avoids women like he's avoiding headlines. That look he gave in that one scene? Yeah, that wasn't acting. And through it all, Lee stayed still, poised, unbothered. Maybe that's the point. In a world that keeps trying to label people, Lee Jahoon reminds us that identity doesn't always come with a press release. That queerness can exist in the quiet. That mystery isn't always something to be solved. Sometimes it's something to be respected. And for a new generation watching him with both admiration and questions, he represents something powerful. The right to live truthfully, even if that truth is never spoken out loud. Ryusei Yokohama, Mr. Straight on paper, until he isn't. On paper, Ryusei Yokohama is the perfect straight lead. Tall, athletic, polite to a fault, the kind of guy who'd bring your mom flowers and still be home by 9. He's done romantic comedies, action flicks, serious dramas, and always nails the role of good man with a heart of gold. Directors love him, moms adore him, agencies market him as the wholesome face of Japanese masculinity. But the internet? Oh, they've seen something else. Because somehow, Ryusei keeps finding himself in moments that feel a little too tender, too sparkly, too BL-coded. Whether it's that oddly intense eye contact with a male co-star, the way he blushes mid-interview, or that one infamous fashion shoot where he looked like he walked out of a Gucci love triangle, fans aren't buying the wholesome boyfriend package without questions. Memes were made, TikToks created, conspiracy boards fully built. And then there's his Instagram. Minimalist captions, artful selfies, matching clothes with his male bestie, more than once. Sure, it could all just be style, but in a fandom culture that reads subtext like gospel, Ryusei's clean-cut image only adds fuel to the fire. The less he says, the more fans invent, and honestly, he's never said much. His silence has become the stage where all the questions live. Still, maybe that's what makes him matter. Because Ryusei Yokohama challenges the idea that being soft, stylish, or emotionally fluent has to mean anything about your label. He reminds us that straightness isn't a costume, and queerness isn't either. Sometimes, a man just gets to be himself. No disclaimers, no limits, no performance. Masaki Okada, the golden boy who refused to play by the rules. Masaki Okada was supposed to be the safe one. With his delicate features, gentle smile, and calm voice, he was the poster child for your mom's favorite actor. The kind of guy directors cast when they want vulnerability, warmth, and a clean-cut charm that won't scare sponsors. He played doctors, students, best friends, dream boyfriends, all without ruffling a single feather. But somewhere along the way, Masaki started doing something unexpected. He stopped playing safe. He chose darker roles, complicated characters, stories that made people uncomfortable. Off-screen, he didn't chase fame, he moved in silence. No scandals, no dating confirmations, no typical star behavior. Just quiet choices that spoke volumes. And while tabloids tried pairing him with actresses, fans noticed his energy was different, especially around certain male co-stars. The way he laughed with them, the way he lingered between takes, the way his eyes said things the script never did. Then came the theories. He's too soft to be straight, too polished, too private. He dodges every question about love like it's a spoiler. The fandom, especially the queer community, began to see something more in him. Not a label, but a reflection. A space, a maybe. He became the kind of star who doesn't confirm your suspicions, but doesn't insult them either. And in a world that's constantly demanding answers, that kind of respect feels radical. Because Masaki Okada reminds us, not everyone needs to make a statement to make an impact. Sometimes, the way someone exists gently, openly, on their own terms, becomes the loudest message of all. And now, we want to hear you. Out of these 10 stars, which one left the deepest impression on you? Who made you feel seen, surprised, or maybe even a little understood? Drop their name in the comments. Let's celebrate the ones who made us feel something real. What if every rumor you laughed at was actually someone's truth? These 10 stars reminded us that queerness lives in the unspoken moments, the lingering looks, the questions that never needed answers. If you felt seen, heard, or simply curious, this video was for you. Support LGBTQ+ stories by liking, subscribing, and sharing your thoughts below. Your voice is part of the change. Who's really straight and who's just acting? In 2025, Asia's biggest male stars face the heat, from deleted posts to fan-fueled fantasies. The line between role and reality is blurrier than ever. Are they hiding secrets or just victims of fame? Get ready for the top 10 hottest gay rumors in Asia 2025. This list will shock you, stir you, and make you question everything. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're watching. Lee Hun-woo has always been one of those Korean actors who feels too polished to be real. The kind of guy who could flash a smile, blink twice, and leave half the internet writing fanfiction before lunch. From his breakout role in To the Beautiful You, fans weren't just watching for the romance. They were watching for the tension. Especially the kind that seemed to jump off the screen whenever he shared a frame with another male lead. Sure, he played the cute, harmless type, but harmless doesn't mean uninteresting. It means dangerous in a different way. Subtle, layered. And that's where the rumors began. Some said it was just great acting, others weren't so sure. Too much eye contact, one fan wrote. Too much chemistry, said another. They weren't complaining, they were suspicious. Then came the IU friendship. When paparazzi spotted the two together, everyone braced for a classic straight romance scandal. But when Lee casually laughed off the rumors and said they were just good friends, something shifted. It wasn't that people stopped believing he was dating IU, it's that they started thinking he wasn't dating any woman at all. Online forums blew up with speculation. Threads titled "Lee Hunwoo Gay Moments We Can't Unsee" started getting hundreds of comments. Fans shared screenshots, slow-motion clips, even body language analyses. One viral post claimed he had the most bisexual hand gestures in K-drama history. Was it serious? Not really. Was it kind of true? Maybe. But to this day, Lee hasn't addressed the rumors directly. No denial, no confirmation. Just smiles, hand waves, and a perfectly curated Instagram feed with just enough ambiguity to keep people coming back. Some say he's playing both sides, romantically and professionally. Others think he's just living his life and letting the rest of us spiral. Whatever the truth may be, one thing's clear. Lee Hyun-woo knows how to keep the mystery alive. And in this industry, mystery isn't just intriguing, it's currency. Nam Yoon-soo didn't just stumble into fame, he walked in like he knew the camera loved him. From his modeling debut in 2014 to breakout roles in Extracurricular, The King's Affection, and a string of fashion campaigns, Nam carved out a niche for himself. Tall, magnetic, and emotionally elusive. But with great screen presence comes great speculation. And for Nam, it didn't take long before the whispers turned into full-blown headlines. It all heated up when Nam took on a queer character in Love in the Big City, a bold move in an industry that still treads lightly around LGBTQ+ representation. The performance? Intense, intimate, almost too natural. Viewers couldn't decide what shocked them more, the vulnerability of the character or the eerie sense that Nam wasn't exactly acting. Was it just good direction, or did art imitate something a little closer to truth? Fueling the fire, Nam has never publicly dated anyone, male or female. His social media presence is careful, curated, and strikingly quiet when it comes to anything personal. No cozy couple selfies, no rumored flings, just photo shoots, brand deals, and the occasional cryptic caption. Fans started asking, is he guarding his privacy or hiding his reality? In late 2024, a behind-the-scenes clip from a commercial shoot went viral. Nam, resting his head on a male stylist's shoulder, followed by a tender hand touch. Innocent to some, intimate to others. The internet lit up with theories, TikToks, and slow-motion breakdowns of the moment. His agency brushed it off as playful fan service, but to many, it didn't feel like acting. More curious still, Nam once said in an interview, "I want to take on roles that reflect all kinds of love, because that's what being human is." Beautiful sentiment, but to some listeners it was less about the roles and more about the reflection. Nam Yoon-soo hasn't confirmed anything, and maybe he never will. But in 2025, his name sits high on the list of Asian stars fans just know are keeping something quietly, deliberately off record. And if he is queer, then he's playing the long game, with style, grace, and a perfectly timed pause. Parowatt didn't choose the BL life. The BL life chose him. At just 16, he landed his first gay role in Make It Right, and from that moment on, something changed. It wasn't just the way fans saw him, it was the way the industry began to brand him. Soft, sensitive, emotionally rich, the kind of male lead who could break your heart with a glance, and then stitch it back together with a half smile. Over the years, became a staple in Thailand's booming boys' love scene. From He's Coming to Me to the global phenomenon Bad Buddy, His portrayals were so natural, so disarmingly tender, that fans began to blur the lines between character and actor. They weren't just shipping Pat and Prem, they were shipping Om and Nanon. Edits, tweets, fan cams, the energy was intense, and then silence. No confirmation, no denial. Just two actors slowly distancing themselves online. A few deleted posts, no more joint interviews. Fans noticed, of course. They always do. Rumors flared. Was the chemistry real? Did something happen? Or worse, were they warned to keep it quiet? Adding to the intrigue, Om was briefly linked to a female influencer in 2023, but neither party confirmed the relationship. It felt like PR damage control, like someone trying to reset a narrative. But by then, it was too late. The LGBTQ+ fanbase had claimed Om as one of their own, if not in identity, then at least in spirit. And maybe that's why the rumors persist. Because Om doesn't reject them. He leans into the nuance. He plays queer characters with dignity, depth, and zero caricature. And in a region where many still fear judgment, that alone is radical. Whether Om Parowatt is gay, bi, or simply a damn good actor isn't really the point anymore. What matters is that he helped open a door, one where LGBTQ+ love isn't a gimmick, but a story worth telling. And in 2025, that kind of representation is more than performance. It's progress. Nanon Gnapat isn't just Thailand's golden boy. He's the human equivalent of don't judge a book by its pretty, insanely photogenic, wildly symmetrical cover. With a face that launched 1,000 fan edits and a voice that could melt Wi-Fi signals, Nanon is the type of actor who can cry, flirt, and crush your soul, all in the same scene. But behind that sharp jawline and boyish charm lies a mystery fans still can't decode. Is Nanon straight or just strategically ambiguous? But just when the Om Nanon ship was sailing at full speed, boom, iceberg. Posts disappeared, fan service dried up, and Nanon? Quiet. Then came the clip. You know the one, where he casually said he was straight in an interview. Straight-faced. No wink, no pause, no dramatic music. Just, I'm straight. And while some fans took it as gospel, others weren't so sure. Maybe he meant straight up confused, one fan joked, or straight for now, said another. And then there's his Instagram, a curated gallery of solo pics, cryptic captions, and zero sign of a love life. No girlfriends, no boyfriends, just fashion, filters, and the occasional philosophical post about finding yourself. So naturally, the fandom responded the only way they know how, with spreadsheets, timelines, slow-motion eye contact analysis, and one viral theory that he's in a secret relationship with privacy. Still, Nanon hasn't shut down the rumors. And that says something. Maybe he's private, maybe he's somewhere on the spectrum, or maybe he's just letting the mystery do the work. After all, not labeling yourself? That's powerful too. So, what do you think? Is Nanon the ultimate tease, or is there something deeper behind the smile? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let the speculation begin. Jungho has been in the spotlight since he was a kid, South Korea's beloved national little brother. All grown up into a heartthrob with soulful eyes and a squeaky clean image. But beneath the polished roles and polished suits, some fans believe there's a whole other story playing out quietly behind the scenes. The rumors didn't come from scandals. They came from silence. Jungho has kept his private life locked up tighter than a K-drama plot twist. No public relationships, no dating news, not even a whisper of a celebrity crush. And in the K-entertainment world, that kind of silence doesn't whisper innocence, it screams speculation. Things escalated when he took on a gay role in the stage production of Angels in America, one of the boldest LGBTQ+ narratives in theater history. While critics praised his emotional depth, others wondered if the performance hit a little too close to home. Online forums lit up. Why this role? Why now? Was it pure artistic exploration or a subtle coming out through art? Then came his infamous interview dodge. When asked about dating, he gave a vague smile and said, "I'm focused on my career." Classic K-drama hero line. But fans weren't buying it. Some believe he's hiding a long-term relationship, possibly with a male colleague. Others think he's simply asexual, or maybe not interested in explaining himself to a world that's always asking the wrong questions. Whatever the truth, Yoo Sung-ho continues to play characters that challenge norms and defy easy labels. And maybe that's the answer. He doesn't need to say anything. The work speaks loud enough. But if you thought he was mysterious, wait until you meet Perth Nakun, the Thai star whose entire career is built on tension, flirtation, and rumors so bold, they practically sparkle. Let's talk about him. Perth Nakun didn't just step into the BL world. He cannonballed in, shirtless, smirking, and fully aware of the chaos he was about to cause. With that intense gaze and bad boy with a heart of gold energy, he became an instant fan favorite in My Engineer. But as his fame grew, so did the questions. Was Perth just playing a role, or living one? He's played romantic leads with men so convincingly that even co-stars seemed caught off guard. The way he looked at them, the body language, the lingering glances, it didn't feel like acting. It felt personal. And fans? Oh, they noticed. Shipping exploded, TikToks dissected every frame, and fan theories hit overdrive. But things got even spicier off-screen. Perth has never confirmed a relationship with anyone, male or female. His social media is a mystery maze, flirty captions, gym thirst traps, and cryptic messages that leave fans equally breathless and confused. Once he posted a photo with the caption, "Be careful who you fall for. It might already be too late." Too late for who, Perth? For us? For him? Then there was that infamous fan meeting, when someone asked if he'd ever date a man. He smiled, leaned into the mic, and said, "Love is love." Some say he's bisexual. Others say he's straight and milking the BL wave. But deep down, fans sense something more, not just performance, but pride. Perth doesn't run from the rumors. He rides them, winks at them, maybe even thrives on them. So now, we turn it over to you. Which star in this countdown inspires you the most? Who do you love? Who made you think? And who made you feel seen? Drop their name in the comments. Your support gives us strength to tell these stories louder, bolder, and prouder. Jimmy Karn didn't come out of nowhere. He came out of Why Are You? A drama that didn't just make waves, it caused a full-on tsunami in the Thai BL scene. With towering height, smoldering eyes, and that smooth, slow-burn charisma, Jimmy had audiences falling hard and fast. But what really sent fans into a spiral wasn't just his acting, it was the way he wasn't acting. Every touch, every glance, every teasing smile toward co-star Tommy Sidachok felt too sincere, too in sync, too real. Fans didn't just ship them, they certified them. Jimmy Tommy is real trended more times than most idol groups. And when the drama ended, the obsession didn't. But the off-screen mystery only added fuel to the fire. Jimmy kept things vague. No confirmed relationships, no public statements. His chemistry with male co-stars continued across projects, fan meetings, even variety shows. At times, it felt like he was playing a version of himself that the public already believed in. And honestly, he didn't seem in a rush to correct anyone. Then came the interviews. When asked about his type, Jimmy never got specific. One time, he said, "Someone who understands me." Another time, it's about connection, not gender. Cue the internet meltdown, again. Is Jimmy Karn gay, bi, queer adjacent, or simply a master of ambiguity? He's never confirmed, never denied, and maybe never needed to. In a world obsessed with labels, Jimmy just performs, flirts, smiles, and leaves you wondering. But if you thought Thai stars were the only ones stirring the pot, wait till you meet Taisuke Fujigaya, a Japanese idol who's kept fans guessing for over a decade with charm, secrecy, and just enough tension to spark a rumor wildfire. Let's head to Tokyo. Taisuke Fujigaya isn't just a J-pop idol. He's a full-blown enigma in designer boots. As a member of Kiss My FD2, he's been dancing, smirking, and smoldering his way through Japan's entertainment industry for over a decade. But behind every slick hairstyle and well-timed wink lies one of the biggest unspoken questions in J-idol history. Is Fujigaya hiding more than just his next single? The man has mastered the art of saying just enough. In interviews, he's polite, charming, and emotionally evasive. When asked about his ideal type, he once replied, "Someone with a beautiful heart." Fans clutched their chests and started deepening everything from hand gestures to eye contact with male co-stars. On stage, he's electric, commanding attention with his signature blend of brooding intensity and boyish flirtation. But it's the behind-the-scenes clips that have fans hitting rewind. Prolonged glances at male colleagues, oddly tender gestures during rehearsals, and that one infamous backstage hug that felt less friendly pat and more "don't let go." Despite dating rumors with a female actress years ago, the fandom never fully bought the straight narrative. Maybe it was the way he dodged the topic afterward. Maybe it was the fan service that felt too natural. Or maybe, just maybe, it was because he's always looked more comfortable breaking hearts than following rules. But here's the real point. Whether Fujigaya is gay, straight, bi, or beautifully undefined, his influence is undeniable. He's helped redefine masculinity in Japan, showing that softness, ambiguity, and affection between men aren't weaknesses, they're power. Because in a culture where silence is often safer than truth, just existing with quiet confidence can be revolutionary. And for LGBTQ+ fans watching from the sidelines, that kind of presence? It matters more than he may ever know. Yuta Nakamoto didn't just join K-pop, he invaded it. A Japanese dancer in a Korean powerhouse group? That alone was enough to get people talking. But Yuta didn't just blend in. He stood out with swagger. And soon, fans weren't just admiring his stage presence, they were decoding his every move like a K-pop Da Vinci Code. Let's be honest, Yuta's interactions with male idols could fill an entire fanfiction library. There was that time he stroked another member's arm during rehearsal, and then stared unapologetically. Or when he whispered something during a live stream and both of them blushed like it was high school prom. The fan base didn't imagine the tension, they archived it. But here's where it gets tricky. Yuta's not your typical soft and shy idol. He's bold, direct. He's the guy who once said, "I like people who can surprise me." Vague? Maybe, but also suspiciously open-ended. And let's not forget, this is the same man who told a magazine, "I don't like putting things in boxes." Fans didn't know if he meant his music or his sexuality or both. What's even more interesting, Yuta never shuts the conversation down. He doesn't over-explain, doesn't post "just friends" disclaimers. He lets the rumors swirl while casually posting gym selfies, intense stares, and captions like "feel the truth, not the noise." Whatever that means. So is Yuta queer? Straight? Somewhere in between? Truth is, we don't know. And maybe that's the point. He's not here to confirm anything. He's here to show that confidence doesn't require clarification. And for LGBTQ+ fans, especially in Asia, that's more than refreshing. It's liberating, because sometimes the most powerful thing a star can do is live without apology. Takumi Kitamura is the kind of actor who sneaks up on you. One minute he's playing the shy, wounded romantic in Let Me Eat Your Pancreas. The next, he's in Tokyo Revengers, punching his way through gang wars with perfect hair and even better lighting. But it's not just the roles that keep people watching, it's the quiet mystery behind the screen. Unlike other stars who flirt with fan service or drop vague quotes about energy, Takumi keeps it strictly professional, but somehow, that only makes the rumors louder. Fans have long speculated about his close relationships with male co-stars, especially during those intense press tours where one too many side eyes or shoulder touches got fans buzzing. Wait, is that just acting? He doesn't post suggestive captions. He doesn't dance around in variety shows. He just exists, beautifully, gracefully, and without explanation. And maybe that's why people project so much onto him. When someone this poised avoids every label, it makes the question itself feel taboo, and in a way, that says more about us than it does about him. Still, his name continues to surface in queer fan spaces across Asia. Why? Because in every performance, there's vulnerability, there's intimacy, there's the quiet courage of someone who seems to understand what it means to love deeply, even when it's never said out loud. And maybe that's the heart of this video. Across Asia, from Tokyo to Bangkok to Seoul, being LGBTQ+ still comes with risks, stigma, silence, sometimes even fear. But artists like Takumi, whether queer or not, are helping shift the narrative by showing emotion, by breaking norms, by reminding us that masculinity doesn't mean muting tenderness. So here's our question to you. Which of these 10 stars left the deepest mark on you? Drop their name in the comments and tell us why. Your voice matters, your story matters, and together, we push the spotlight toward equality. One conversation, one heart, one vote at a time. They tried to stay quiet, but the world kept watching. It's not about confirming rumors, it's about claiming space. These stories show us that queer presence in Asian media is growing bolder, brighter, and unstoppable. Love that energy? Hit subscribe, check our next video, and tell us which name gave you chills. Your voice fuels our mission. Louder, prouder, and fearless. They've got the fame, the fans, and the whispers. From K-pop idols to rising heartthrobs, these 10 Asian male stars are caught in a storm of rumors. And not just any rumors. Gay? Queer? Just close friendships taken too far? No one said it out loud, but the internet won't stop asking. We're not here to judge, we're here to explore what might be behind the headlines and what it means when silence speaks louder than words. Now it's your turn. Do you think the rumors hold truth, or are they just fan fantasies? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about it. Openly. They say fame comes with a price, but for Masaki Aiba, the cost was silence. As a beloved member of the legendary Japanese group Arashi, Aiba has always been known for his soft charm, infectious smile, and heart-of-gold personality. To fans, he was the sunshine of the group, warm, gentle, and effortlessly likable. But behind that sunshine, shadows started to form. Quiet questions, lingering looks, and rumors that wouldn't go away. Was Aiba simply too kind? Or was he hiding a truth that Japan's conservative media didn't want to touch? Over the years, the whispers grew louder. Unlike his bandmates, Aiba seemed uninterested in the kind of hetero-romantic narratives idols are often pressured to maintain. His interviews were cautious. His body language, sometimes soft, even tender, led some to speculate. And when fans began digging, they noticed something strange. A pattern of close male friendships, affectionate gestures, and emotional moments that didn't quite fit the industry's mold. In a world where queerness was taboo, Masaki Aiba became a mirror, reflecting the hopes of LGBTQ+ fans and the fears of a media machine that refused to acknowledge them. Yet Aiba never confirmed, never denied, leaving everything in that maddening gray space between maybe and never. What makes Aiba's story so compelling isn't the scandal, it's the restraint. The way he navigated a career with grace, knowing that one wrong word could shatter everything. In a culture where labels can end you, he chose ambiguity, and in doing so gave space for many to feel seen. Whether the rumors are true or not almost doesn't matter anymore. What matters is what he represents. A quiet defiance, a soft rebellion, and the possibility that you don't need to shout to be proud. And maybe Masaki Aiba's greatest act wasn't singing, but simply surviving, on his own terms. What if Japan's golden boy wasn't playing it straight? He's been on screen since he was just 6, growing up before our eyes into one of Japan's most respected actors. Ryunosuke Kamiki isn't just talented, he's mesmerizing. With those gentle eyes, soft-spoken charm, and a mysterious air that lingers long after the credits roll, he's become the quiet storm of Japanese cinema. But behind the curtain of acclaim and industry respect lies a whisper that refuses to fade. For years, fans and insiders alike have speculated. Is Ryunosuke hiding something more personal? Something about who he really loves? As his career soared from Your Name to Rurouni Kenshin, Kamiki rarely opened up about his private life. No high-profile relationships, no dramatic love scandals, just silence. And in an industry where image is everything, that silence grew louder. Fans began to notice his close ties to certain male co-stars, a few posts, a few subtle interviews, a handful of red carpet glances that sparked more questions than answers. Japanese forums lit up, global fans started piecing things together. And in 2024, when he was spotted vacationing, Not with a rumored girlfriend, but a longtime male friend. The rumors flared up again. Was this just friendship or something deeper that he couldn't or wouldn't name? In a culture still tiptoeing around queerness, Kamiki's silence is powerful. Maybe he's just private, maybe he's protecting something sacred, or maybe he's waiting for the right moment to speak his truth. Whatever the answer, one thing is clear. Ryunosuke Kamiki has captivated us with more than just his acting. He's become a symbol, not just of talent, but of mystery, restraint, and quiet rebellion in a world that demands definition. And maybe that's where his real power lies. Plan Rathavit didn't just walk into Thailand's entertainment scene, he glided. With a smile that could melt even the iciest hearts and a natural charm that felt disarmingly real, he became an instant favorite in the BL Boys Love universe. His breakout role as Kang in Love by Chance didn't just introduce him, it cemented him in fans' hearts across Asia. The chemistry with co-star Min Firovich was so electrifying, so believable, that for many, the line between fiction and reality began to blur. Was it acting, or was there something more? Every glance, every behind-the-scenes interaction only seemed to deepen the mystery. As Plan's fame soared, so did the speculation. Fan forums lit up with theories, body language experts dissected interviews, every accidental touch was rewatched 1,000 times. The rumor mill wasn't just churning, it was on fire. Was Plan really just that good at acting? Or was he hiding a truth too fragile to say out loud? He never confirmed, never denied. And in a world where silence can say more than words, Plan let the rumors hang, like a question mark at the end of every scene. It wasn't just about who he was, it was about who he was allowed to be in an industry that often values appearances more than authenticity. What makes Plan's story so compelling isn't just the roles he played, but the roles he didn't get to live freely. The expectations of fans, the pressures of the industry, the tightrope between admiration and scrutiny, it's a balancing act few can master. Whether the rumors are true or not, almost doesn't matter anymore. Because what Plan Rathavit represents is bigger than just identity. It's about the right to remain undefined, unboxed, and unashamed. And in that silence, in that subtle resistance, he became something more than a heartthrob. He became a mirror, reflecting the hopes, projections, and quiet longings of an entire generation. So what do you believe? Was it all just acting, or did we catch a glimpse of something real? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more untold stories from Asia's biggest stars, hit that subscribe. He came in like a quiet storm, calm, composed, and dangerously charming. Lee Do-hyun didn't need scandals to make headlines. He had talent, he had presence, and in every role, from the broken son in Youth of May to the bittersweet soul in 18. Again, he pulled audiences into emotional chaos with nothing but a look. But while Korea praised his professionalism and fans swooned over his boy-next-door energy, there was something else growing just under the surface. A silence, a curiosity, a question that no one dared ask out loud, but everyone seemed to whisper. Lee Do-hyun has never publicly dated anyone, no ex-girlfriends dragged into tabloids, no flirty moments captured with idols or influencers, not even a rumored fling, despite a face that could launch 1,000 ships. But what has been captured? A handful of fan clips, him locking eyes with male co-stars just a second too long, BTS footage that felt a little too warm, and roles that, even when romantic with women, somehow left queer fans feeling seen. Could it be projection? Maybe. But when your image is so spotless, so carefully curated, every crack becomes a doorway. Every quiet moment, a potential clue. Online forums lit up. Some fans defended him, brushing it off as acting. Others leaned in, convinced that behind that polite smile was a truth he wasn't ready to share. Not with Korea, not with the world. In a country where revealing your truth could quietly end your career, Lee Do-hyun's silence feels like both his protection and his quiet prison. He's at the peak of his career, he's just getting started. And yet, there's a weight to his interviews, a guardedness, like someone who's always calculating just how much he can say before it costs him everything. Whether the rumors are true or not, isn't really the point. What matters is what they represent. The hunger for queer visibility in a place that still punishes it. The ache of fans who see themselves in him, not just in his beauty, but in his fear. And maybe, one day, that silence will break. Not as a confession, but as freedom. Kim Young-dae didn't just enter the spotlight, he glided into it, like someone who already knew how to steal attention without making a sound. Born in 1996 in Seoul, he majored in business administration, but fate clearly had other plans. His breakout came in Extraordinary You, where he played the stoic bad boy with piercing eyes, and suddenly, every camera wanted a piece of him. From there, roles in The Penthouse, The Forbidden Marriage proved he wasn't just another pretty face. There was something sculpted and unreachable about him. Almost too perfect. And with perfection comes curiosity. The rumors didn't start loud. They started soft, a look too tender in an interview, a laugh that lingered too long with male co-stars. Fans were the first to whisper, then forums lit up. Is Kim Young-dae gay? It didn't help that he's never been caught in a public romance, not with a woman, not with anyone. The more he stayed silent, the louder the theories got. Some pointed to his chemistry with certain male leads as too believable. Others noted his private lifestyle and spotless dating record. Of course, nothing concrete ever surfaced, just photos, fan cams, and a growing mountain of assumptions. But in an industry obsessed with image, silence can be deafening. Whether there's truth behind the speculation or not, one thing's clear. Kim Young-dae stands as a symbol of how tightly South Korean idols are expected to fit a mold. The real question isn't just about his sexuality, it's about why fans feel the need to define it for him. Maybe he's just private, maybe he's something more, maybe it doesn't matter at all. In a world still learning to celebrate love in all its forms, Kim's story, or lack thereof, reminds us how far we have to go. And maybe, just maybe, his silence isn't avoidance, but quiet resistance. Dennis Dang, the enigma of Vietnam's Dark Prince. They called him Vietnam's Prince of Darkness, but behind the theatrical eyeliner and haunting visuals, Dennis Dang was hiding more than just an artistic soul. Born Nguyen Tri Dung, Dennis transformed himself into a cultural icon, a creative force who reshaped the visual identity of Vietnam's modern pop music. With just one concept video or music styling, he could make an entire nation rethink beauty, sorrow, and fantasy. But while his career soared through provocative imagery and queer-coded symbolism, whispers followed him everywhere, about his identity, his past, and the man he might be loving behind closed doors. Dennis wasn't just a creative director, he was the man behind the curtain of some of Vietnam's biggest stars, from Nguyen Tran Trung Quan to countless boundary-pushing music videos. But his signature style, dark, mythical, and emotionally raw, often came wrapped in homoerotic energy that fans couldn't ignore. It wasn't just the visuals, it was the chemistry, the lingering glances, the way he'd speak about love in abstract terms, never gendered, always poetic. Public appearances with Nguyen Tran Trung Quan, arms linked, eyes locked, only intensified the rumors. Was it just friendship wrapped in flamboyance, or a hidden romance the industry couldn't allow to breathe? Dennis Dang never confirmed, never denied. He just kept creating, louder, darker, and more unapologetically symbolic. And maybe that was the answer all along. His silence wasn't avoidance, it was resistance. A statement that love in all forms doesn't always need a label. But Dennis isn't the only Asian creative navigating stardom through layers of speculation and coded queerness. From the shadows of Vietnam, we now move to the understated charm of Japan, where actor Kentaro Ito is facing his own storm of quiet glances, unanswered questions, and a past that refuses to stay quiet. Kentaro Ito didn't crash into the spotlight. He arrived quietly, like a soft breeze, yet left an impact that lingered long after the screen went dark. Born in Tokyo in 1997, Kentaro's journey began with modeling, before he gracefully stepped into the world of acting in the mid-2010s. He soon became known for his warm presence, subtle performances, and the kind of youthful vulnerability that made audiences feel like they knew him, even if they didn't. Films like Strobe Edge and March Comes In Like a Lion placed him among Japan's most promising young talents. On screen, he was tender, sincere, sometimes painfully shy, and that very softness made him stand out in a world often obsessed with flashy confidence. But with fame came whispers. Despite no public statements about his sexuality, fans and tabloids alike began to speculate. Was it the way he avoided romantic pairings in interviews? The deep, lingering glances with male co-stars during press tours? Or the subtle distance he kept when female idols flirted on variety shows? The rumors intensified during his breakout years, especially when he portrayed emotionally intense male friendships that some fans claimed carried more weight than the scripts suggested. Online forums buzzed with questions. Is Kentaro Ito gay? Was he simply private, or was there something deeper beneath his carefully crafted public image? He never responded directly. He never needed to. But his silence only fed the fire, and for many, that silence was its own kind of answer. What's most compelling about Kentaro Ito isn't the rumor, it's his refusal to play by the rules of celebrity exposure. In an industry that pressures stars to define themselves publicly, Kentaro chose grace over clarity, art over labels. And perhaps that's the quiet courage we often overlook. Because whether he's part of the LGBTQ+ community or not, his story challenges us to rethink how we approach identity in entertainment, how we make room for ambiguity, for privacy, and for people to grow at their own pace. Boom Kritipak, the smile that launched 1,000 questions. He didn't need a scandal to get noticed. Boom Kritipak stepped into the spotlight with that boyish grin. Disarming, effortless, almost too perfect to be real. From the very beginning, fans didn't just fall in love with his acting, they fell for the image. The gentle voice, the soft gaze, the chemistry that seemed to leap off the screen. He wasn't just acting in BL dramas. He was living in the minds of millions, as someone they hoped was playing more than just a part. But was it all just performance? Or was Boom hiding something behind that camera-ready charm? His rise to fame came fast, thanks to roles in Thai series like Make It Right and Two Moons, where his tender, emotionally complex portrayals of love between men weren't just convincing, they felt personal. Viewers couldn't help but ask, how could someone play those roles with such honesty unless they knew that kind of love firsthand? The rumors started swirling. Fan forums lit up with theories. Every behind-the-scenes glance, every birthday wish posted by a co-star, every offhand comment in an interview dissected like clues. Yet Boom always stayed cool, never denying, never confirming, just smiling. And somehow that silence only added fuel to the speculation. In a world where many actors are to label themselves, Boom remains a question mark. And maybe that's why he resonates so deeply. Because in a culture obsessed with answers, he reminds us that it's okay to live in the gray areas. Maybe he's straight, maybe he's queer, or maybe he just wants his work to speak louder than his labels. Whatever the truth is, Boom Kritipak's story isn't just about one boy and a rumor. It's about visibility, about the power of suggestion, and about the fine line between who we are and who the world wants us to be. Gerayu, the beautiful mystery fans can't stop talking about. He walked in like a dream, tall, graceful, and impossible to look away from. Gerayu isn't just another Thai actor. He's a presence, a mood, a mystery wrapped in beauty. From the moment he appeared in F4 Thailand, fans weren't just captivated. They were obsessed. He didn't chase the spotlight. It chased him. His quiet charm, the way he barely spoke but always said something with his eyes, made him feel like a real-life manga character. And that's when the rumors began. Not because of scandal, but because people couldn't figure him out, and they wanted to. There's something about Do that doesn't fit into neat boxes, and for many fans, that ambiguity only deepened the fascination. In a world obsessed with labels, Do became the exception. His on-screen chemistry with male co-stars sparked whispers from day one, especially with co-actor Bright Vachirawit. The way Du looked at him, touched him, leaned in just a little too close. It didn't feel rehearsed. It felt real. And then there were the off-camera moments. Late-night lives, stolen glances, unexpected softness. Du never said much. He didn't need to. Fans picked up the cues, or maybe they just wanted to. Some say he's just naturally gentle. Others believe he's playing the long game, keeping his truth locked behind that haunting smile. But whether it's coy marketing or quiet truth, one thing's certain. Du's refusal to deny or confirm anything only fuels the intrigue. In 2025, being silent is sometimes louder than coming out. But Du's story isn't just about who he might love, it's about the way he challenges expectations. In an industry that still rewards conformity, he remains untouchably himself. Soft-spoken, fashion-forward, and fiercely private. Fans don't just watch Du, they feel him. And maybe that's the point. Maybe it's not about answers, it's about presence. And just when we think we've figured him out, he vanishes again, leaving only speculation in his place. Now, speaking of presence, there's another name rising just as quietly but just as powerfully, Tulpicorn. If Du is the enigma you can't crack, Pod is the storm that sneaks up on you, all charm, all edge, and just as full of surprises. Let's turn the page and dive into his story. Tulpicorn, the star who keeps you guessing. There's something about Tulpicorn that makes you stop and look twice. Maybe it's the way he smiles, not too big, not too shy, just enough to make you wonder what he's thinking. Or maybe it's the calm confidence he brings into every room, every role, like he's walking through life with a secret only he understands. From his breakout performances in Thai BL dramas to his rising status in the fashion scene, Pod isn't just another handsome face. He's become a symbol of modern masculinity in Thailand. Soft yet powerful, graceful but grounded. And in a world where the spotlight exposes everything, Pod remains unreadable. As Pod's star rose, so did the whispers. Fans started noticing the lingering glances in interviews, the way he spoke about love with no gendered boundaries, the comfort he had around male co-stars even when the camera stopped rolling. On one hand, he was just being himself, kind, respectful, emotionally intelligent. But in the world of fandoms and tabloid headlines, that openness sparked speculation. Is Pod gay? Is he just queer-coded for fame? Or is this all part of a carefully crafted image? The rumors intensified after a series of cryptic Instagram posts. Quotes about authenticity, love that defies labels, and being misunderstood. And yet, Pod never clarified. He never denied. He simply moved forward, letting his work and silence speak louder than any headline ever could. In the end, maybe Tulpicorn's story isn't about confirming or denying anything. Maybe the power of his presence lies in the space he leaves for interpretation, in the freedom he claims by not answering questions he doesn't owe anyone. His refusal to define himself in a culture that pressures stars to pick a side is in itself a quiet rebellion. Whether he identifies as gay, straight, bisexual, or none of the above, Pod has become a mirror, reflecting back our own assumptions, fears, and hopes about identity, thing of all. In the end, these stories aren't just about rumors, they're about courage, about the price of fame, and the quiet strength it takes to be yourself in a world that loves to judge. Whether these stars are gay, straight, or somewhere in between, one thing is clear: identity is personal. And no one owes the world an explanation for simply being human. If this video made you think, made you feel, or made you see these stars in a different light, then we've done our job. Because here, we believe in visibility, in empathy, and in breaking down the silence, one story at a time. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful voices, untold truths, and conversations that matter. Watch our other videos, drop a comment, and keep this conversation going. Because change begins with listening, and you, yes you, are a part of it. What if the roles they played were closer to real life than we thought? In 2025, 10 Asian male stars stirred up whispers, not just with what they said, but what they didn't. From steamy scenes to silent stares, they've sparked a deeper question. Are these just rumors or quiet truths waiting to be seen? This isn't gossip, it's a mirror. A look at how queerness is shown, hidden, and sometimes lived without saying a word. Which name surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's explore what visibility really means. Kim Sanho, the smile that hides 1,000 questions. What if the real love story was the one he never told? Kim Sanho became Korea's sweetheart almost overnight. He didn't just act, he disarmed people. With that soft-spoken charm and a grin that could melt steel, he walked into our hearts as effortlessly as he delivered his lines. But in South Korea, fame is rarely just about talent. It's about image, control, perfection, and sometimes silence. While the public clung to his every character off-screen, Kim Sanho remained elusive. No major dating scandals, no messy tabloids, no confirmations, just whispers. Some fans started noticing something. That gentle intimacy with male co-stars, the way he dodged romantic questions, the kind of comfort he had around men that didn't feel forced. It felt lived in. Natural, unapologetic, almost too effortless to be just acting. And then there's his personal life, a locked box. No clear public relationships, no declarations, just a carefully preserved quiet. And in that quiet, the rumors began to grow. Of course, none of this proves anything. But in a country where queerness still exists behind locked doors and blurred interviews, Kim's curated silence feels more deliberate than accidental. It's in the pauses, the glances, the moments he chooses not to clarify, and the way he never quite shuts down the rumors. Just lets them float, untouched, unbothered, like he's daring the world to keep guessing. So is Kim Sanho guarding his peace or hiding his truth? Maybe both. Because behind that dazzling smile is a man who gives us just enough to love him, and never quite enough to know him. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly the way he wants it. Hiroki Iijima, the idol who chose softness in a hard world. In a culture obsessed with rigid roles, he chose to blur the lines. Hiroki Iijima didn't explode onto the scene, he drifted in, like a quiet breeze before the storm. Calm, graceful, almost too delicate for an industry that feeds on extremes. He rose to fame through the Kamen Rider franchise, where he was expected to be tough, loud, masculine. But Hiroki never shouted for attention. He whispered, and people leaned in. As his fame grew, so did the contradictions. His style, clean, soft, sometimes flirtatiously androgynous. His interviews, sprinkled with thoughtful pauses, emotional vulnerability, and moments of quiet introspection that left fans wondering, was he just sensitive, or was he saying something without words? It wasn't long before the questions started, not from scandals, but from vibes. The way he moved, the friendships that looked just a bit too intimate, the refusal to fit into Japan's conservative mold of what a leading man should be. Some saw it as queer-coded, others saw it as rebellion, but maybe, just maybe, Hiroki was simply being himself in a world that keeps asking people like him to choose a side. He's never made a public declaration. He doesn't owe us one. What he gives instead is representation in the subtlest form, the courage to be soft, to be quiet, and to not apologize for it. And in a society where visibility still comes at a cost, Hiroki Iijima reminds us that not all revolutions have to be loud. Sometimes just existing authentically, in softness, in silence, in style, is a protest in itself, and that's a kind of pride worth protecting. Fluke Natuch, when the line between role and reality disappears. If Hiroki Iijima proved that softness could be strength, then Fluke Natuch showed us what happens when fictional love feels more honest than reality. Born in Thailand, a country where queerness is visible, but not always respected, Fluke didn't ease into stardom. He was thrown into it, heart first. His breakout role in Red Wine in the Dark Night didn't just introduce him as an actor, it cemented him as a face of Thailand's booming BL industry, a world where boys love boys, but only on screen. From the beginning, Fluke stood out. His performances weren't just convincing, they were achingly real. The tenderness in his eyes, the way he held another man like it meant something. It wasn't fan service, it felt lived in. And that's where the lines began to blur. Was it just acting? Or was Fluke finally allowed to be himself, even if only in costume and character? Despite the overwhelming speculation, Fluke has always kept a graceful silence. No declarations, no denials, just steady work, intimate roles, and an ever-growing fan base that sees him, truly sees him, in ways the industry rarely allows. But let's not mistake his silence for invisibility. In a world where queer love is often filtered, polished, and sanitized for comfort, Fluke Mituch delivers something far more radical. Honesty wrapped in emotion. His presence on screen says what words can't. That love between men can be soft, complex, and deeply human. And even if it's never labeled, it's still valid, still beautiful, still brave. Mark Natteret, the enigma behind the eyes. Some stars shine, others burn. But Mark Natteret, he haunts. From the moment he appeared on screen, there was something different, a stillness, a weight behind the eyes that made it hard to look away. Unlike his flashier peers, Mark doesn't dazzle with loud performances or over-the-top gestures. He draws you in with subtle intensity, the kind that makes you question what's being said and what's being hidden. He's one of Thailand's rising actors, but also one of its most mysterious. In interviews, he speaks softly, rarely personal, always poised. Off-screen, there's barely a trace. No splashy romances, no chaotic fan service, just rumors. And those rumors, they swirl quietly. Fans began noticing his closeness with male co-stars, his deep, almost magnetic chemistry in BL dramas, the kind that feels too precise to be rehearsed. His avoidance of heteronormative roles in public relationships only adds fuel to a question he's never answered. Is there more to Mark than we're allowed to see? But maybe that's the point. Mark Natteret doesn't chase attention. He guards space, a rare kind of space where identity doesn't need to be explained or performed. And in doing so, he becomes a mirror, reflecting the audience's hopes, fears, and curiosities about what queerness can look like when it's unspoken, but deeply felt. Because visibility isn't always volume. Sometimes just holding your ground, quietly, confidently, is the loudest thing you can do. If stories like Mark's make you feel something, curiosity, connection, maybe even courage, then don't keep it to yourself. Like, comment, and subscribe to support this channel so we can keep bringing hidden stories into the light. Taetuan, too smart to be caught, too slick to be read. In the world of BL, where vulnerability sells and chemistry builds careers, Taetuan doesn't just play the game, he orchestrates it. With boyish charm, effortless wit, and a jawline built for close-ups, Tae has become one of the most bankable stars in Thai entertainment. But unlike others who fall into roles, Tae calculates them. Every interaction, every look, every line, it's measured, intentional, and yet, somehow, still electric. From his unforgettable pairing with Nuthitipoom to solo interviews filled with charming ambiguity, Tae has never denied the rumors, but he's never confirmed them either. He balances on that knife's edge between fantasy and reality, keeping fans hooked without ever showing his full hand. And maybe that's why people can't look away. Tae doesn't just portray queer love, he embodies it, with just enough mystery to make you wonder what's acting and what's not. He leans in, just enough, smiles just long enough, then steps back, smooth, unreadable, in control. In a world that demands labels, Tae offers fluidity. He gives us romance, but not confession. Connection, but not conclusion. It's frustrating and fascinating, because in doing so, he shines a light on how queerness is both seen and still hidden. And maybe that's the real story here. Taetuan doesn't need to come out, because in his presence, in his power, in his precision, we already see so much of what queer representation can be. If you've felt that duality, that tension between truth and performance, let's keep the conversation going. Like this video, hit subscribe, and help us grow a channel where these stories finally get told. Now it's your turn. Which of these 5 stories hit you hardest? Who left you thinking, feeling, craving more? Drop their name in the comments, and trust us, we're watching every reply like it's the next plot twist. Jin Young, the idol trapped inside perfection. Not every secret is a scandal. Sometimes, it's just the quiet truth you're too afraid to name. Jin Young isn't loud. He never needed to be. From his early days in JO7 to the lead roles in hit dramas, his presence has always been measured. Every word, calculated, every gesture perfectly placed. He became the poster boy for Korean perfection. Respectful, elegant, multi-talented, and somehow always just a little too polished. Too smooth to be cracked, too flawless to be real. To many fans, he's the embodiment of a soft masculinity. Gentle, thoughtful, emotionally present. But in a culture where even gentleness is read as suspicion, people began to wonder, was Jin Young just well-trained, or was he carefully hiding in plain sight? The whispers weren't cruel, they were curious, about how he looked at certain co-stars, about the way he avoided speaking on love, any kind of love, about the energy he carried, subtle, magnetic, and a little too intimate when it didn't need to be. It wasn't a performance, it was natural, and maybe that's what made it feel so personal. He's never come out, he's never denied. He floats between the lines like someone who's mastered the art of being visible, without ever being vulnerable. A perfect blank slate, so clean the world could project anything onto him. And somehow, it always does. And maybe that's the hardest closet to be in. Not the one with a locked door, but the one everyone admires, so no one thinks to knock, where silence becomes a strategy, and privacy becomes performance. Still, Jin Young reminds us that even in silence there can be power. In restraint, there can be resistance. And in staying soft, even when the world demands sharp edges, there is quiet rebellion. Not all revolutions are loud. Some are whispered, styled, and perfectly composed. Because maybe the bravest thing isn't breaking the mold, it's existing gently inside it and refusing to shatter. But not every star hides in the quiet. Some, like the one we're about to meet, Lee Jin-wook, burn with mystery, danger, and a darkness that whispers louder than words. Lee Jin-wook, the leading man with secrets in his eyes. If mystery were a currency, Lee Jin-wook would be untouchably rich. He began as the handsome face in romantic dramas, the sweet boyfriend, the dependable son, the one who always knew the right thing to say. But as time passed, he didn't settle for charm. He dove into roles that got darker, stranger, more dangerous. From Nine to Voice, from Sweet Home to Bulgasol, Jin-wook evolved into something far more magnetic. A man who carried his stories not just on the surface, but beneath it. His success didn't scream. It smoldered. Producers loved his face, directors loved his silence, and audiences, they couldn't look away. But behind those sharp cheekbones and slow, deliberate stares were questions. Questions that no one ever dared to ask out loud. Because Jin-wook doesn't play by the usual rules of masculinity. He's quiet, brooding, emotionally layered, and sometimes, the chemistry he creates with male co-stars feels less like acting and more like confession. There were whispers about the roles he chose, the way he avoided public relationships, the off-camera friendships that felt a little too intimate, and the on-screen moments that felt just a little too real. Was it direction? Was it character work? Or was there something about Jin-wook that just couldn't be edited out? He never answers directly, but then again, he never has to. Lee Jin-wook is the kind of man whose silence says more than most people's interviews. He doesn't explain, he embodies. And if people see queerness in him, maybe that's not projection. Maybe it's presence. He is the shadow at the edge of the frame. The question that lingers, the touch that lasts 1 second too long. Not every leading man needs to be loud. Some leave you breathless, simply by never telling you the full truth. Ryu Jin-yeol, the hipster heartthrob with one big question mark. Some actors get fans. Ryu Jin-yeol? He built a movement. He's not your usual K-drama heartthrob with perfect skin and puppy dog eyes. No, he's the unconventional lead who shows up in thrifted jackets, wireframe glasses, and sneakers older than your Spotify account, and still steals the scene. The type who orders pour-over coffee, quotes Haruki Murakami in interviews, and somehow makes quiet and brooding feel irresistibly hot. But don't let the artsy exterior fool you. Ryu Jin-yeol has serious acting chops. He gave us emotional whiplash in Reply 1988, made you root for a con artist in Money, and delivered psychological chills in Alienoid. He doesn't just play characters, he complicates them, and fans love it. Still, it wasn't just his roles that got people talking. It was the vibe, the details. Photos with male co-stars that felt a little too close, an energy on set that blurred the line between bromance and something more. And let's not forget the viral shots of him with so-called just friends. Arms around shoulders, soft lighting, smiles that said, "This could be a wedding invite." Ryu isn't flashy, he's not constantly online. And when it comes to his love life, he keeps things so low-key, even gossip blogs don't know what to write. He's dated high-profile actresses, allegedly, but he's also spent years dodging romantic labels altogether. Cool, calm, unreadable. That's why fans keep asking, is Ryu Junyeol queer? Is he straight but stylish? Is he just a Pisces with intense eye contact and great taste in cardigans? Whatever the truth is, one thing's clear. Ryu Junyeol doesn't care what story you've written about him. He's already directing his own. He doesn't break the mold. He repurposes it, adds indie lighting, and sells it at an art fair. And maybe that's the beauty of him. In a world obsessed with labels, he reminds us that not everything, or everyone, needs to be decoded. So tell us, is Ryu Junyeol the ultimate queer-coded mystery, or just the most emotionally evolved man in Korea? Fourth Gnapat, the boy who grew up under a spotlight too bright. Some stars rise, but fourth Gnapat, he blossomed, right in front of our eyes. From the moment he appeared in My School President, Fourth didn't just play a teenage crush, he became one. With that lopsided grin, sunlit skin, and the kind of boy-next-door energy you can't manufacture, he stole hearts across Asia faster than you can say BL Revolution. But fame at that age? It hits different. It doesn't wait. It doesn't ask. It watches everything. Every blink, every tweet, every glance that lingers 1 second too long. As Fourth's popularity soared, so did the questions. Fans noticed how natural he was in romantic scenes with male co-stars. Too natural. The hand-holding didn't look rehearsed, the eye contact didn't feel scripted. The chemistry? Off the charts. And when the cameras stopped rolling, the softness didn't. Was he just a gifted actor? Or was he living a truth no one dared name out loud? To his credit, Fourth hasn't run from the whispers. He hasn't shut them down. He just smiles, laughs, plays guitar, posts photos that make fans zoom in like it's the Zapruder film. He's not defensive, he's not afraid, he's just Fourth. And maybe that's the charm. He's growing up in front of millions, but somehow still owning his story on his own terms. No labels, no press statements, just vibes, playlists, and maybe a little mischief. Because maybe queerness today doesn't need a declaration. Just visibility. Just joy. Just one brave kid showing that you can be soft, talented, and magnetic without ever apologizing for who you are. Mahiro Takasugi, the beautiful puzzle. Japan can't solve if most stars are carved from marble. Mahiro Takasugi was cut from glass, sharp, strange, always reflecting something back at you. He doesn't walk through the industry, he drifts, unexpected, unforgettable. From Callboy to Before We Vanish, Mahiro doesn't chase likable roles, he chooses the ones that haunt you. Characters who blur the line between body and soul, love and obsession, gender, and everything beyond it. In Japan, where uniformity means safety, Mahiro feels like gentle defiance. He arrives with quiet intensity, styled ambiguity, and a beauty that refuses to fit in any one box. He's not just handsome, he's unreadable. And that makes people nervous. And fascinated, he's never come out, never labeled himself. But the energy lingers in every role, every red carpet stare, every too intimate scene that doesn't feel like acting. The softness, the stillness, the refusal to explain. And maybe that's what makes him powerful. Because Mahiro Takasugi doesn't just perform, he disrupts. He takes the narrow script of masculinity in Asian cinema and edits it with shadow, silence, and suggestion. No loud declarations, no PR campaigns, just presence. For queer people across Asia, in closets, on screens, or in between, that's revolutionary. It says, you don't have to be loud to be real. You don't need permission to exist. And if Asia truly wants to move forward, not just in cinema, but in culture, in justice, in love, then we must stop asking queer people to shrink themselves just to be accepted. We need to stop demanding explanations and start offering space, because visibility is power, and authenticity, even when it's quiet, can change everything. Not everything stays hidden forever. These stars blurred the line between acting and truth. And maybe, just maybe, the rumors were never just rumors. What if queerness in Asia isn't underground anymore, just unspoken? If that idea hit you, then hit subscribe. Let's make sure these stories are heard, loud, proud,